Hi and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Jenna. I'm a self-taught makeup artist and this is me working on a client. Her skin is really good. I really loved working on her skin. So like any other makeup, I'm starting by prepping the face. I'm going to be using a lot of sprays. I'm going to be using primer. I'm going to be using serums, moisturizers, and yeah, spraying it. So I usually start by wiping the face clean, and you can do that with either micellar water or just a wet wipe based on what you have available. And then when I'm done, I start up by I use snail mucin serum, and then I spray the face as I'm doing. So a good tip is for you to make sure that the skin is dry after applying each product. This will help the other one to lie well on the skin. After that, I'm going with this Beauty by Johnson Glow Serum, and this serum is I can't even hype it enough. It's so good. It moisturizes your skin so much. Like you can see what I'm saying, right? Immediately after applying it, the glow from the skin was just effortless. It was beautiful, and it's a very good base because it helps your makeup to just glow from underneath the skin because of that serum is already there. So when I'm done, I spray and then I move on to primer. I use the hydro grip milk hydro, yeah, primer, and then I used another primer. I don't know why I didn't show that one in the video, but I applied two primers, and then I use on mostly the cheeks, the forehead, and then just the chin, and then I spray and I fan it to let it dry. Then I move on to my foundation. So for her skin, I had to match two different foundations. I don't even know why I didn't show like the products very well. I'm sorry for that. But yeah, I usually do a lot of mixing for foundations, blush, and so many more. I usually mix a lot. So I did this mixing from what I had in my my palette, or in my box rather, and then I started doing the application. So I mixed my blush and contour and applied. Then I went to the concealer and then I applied the concealer. I really liked how subtle the concealer looked. It's not too much. It's just perfect and adequate for her face, judged based on the inspiration that she showed me. And then a good tip for your creams: immediately you apply your cream, concealer, contour, set it with powder. This will prevent creasing on your makeup. So when I was done with blending, I started setting it as quickly as possible so that it doesn't dry and look cakey. So as you can see, this is already a very good foundation for any other thing I want to add. So after the under eye should be first because it's prone to creasing. So I did the under eyes first, and then I moved to the forehead, the chin, and then now I'm doing the contour, setting the contour. So the depending on the face of the person you are doing the makeup for, you have to put in you have to put into consideration the person's face structure. So I'm contouring her skin according to her face structure, as you can see. So after doing that, I'm going to be using a big powder brush to set the rest of the face. This will help to blend both the contour and the highlight so there are no harsh lines, and then also because some parts of the face you're not going to be contouring everywhere, you have to put powder to set the foundation and the creams that are already in those places. So that is essentially why I'm using like a shade of powder to set the rest of the face as I will be doing. So don't be confused, I'm just setting the face with powder. So I just go over and over and over until I'm sure that there is no um extra shine, an unusual shine on the skin. So that's basically it for the powder. And Afterwards, I go ahead and spray. There is a lot of spraying to set everything in place because I want this makeup to last. I'm not going with her to wherever she's going, so I want the makeup to really stay in place in case she has to dance, in case she has to do anything that's going to cause her to sweat. We need the makeup to actually be locked in. That is why I'm doing a lot of the sprays. Then immediately I'm done with that, I move on to the brows. And the brows are usually like the eyes actually take most of my time, which is why I quickly do like the rest of the skin and then I focus on the eyes because they take a lot of time for me because I love to get like the eyes done properly because they just kind of stand out, right? So I try to get them done properly. So I took like a brow gel and brushed her brow hairs into place, and then I decided to use a dark concealer and mixed it with the brow gel just to get the right color and the right look for her eyebrows. So I was doing that. I used it to outline the brows, and then you're going to see me use a pencil to go ahead and fill in the rest of the brows. So I do this back and forth until I get what I really want. So if you haven't seen my video just for brows, you can check on my page. I have shorts that I have doing these brows. So take a look at them on my page. Thank you. So I just go back and forth. I start with the under first and then I move on to the top to get like I'm just following her brow shape basically. I don't like to do anything too dramatic for my clients. I try to get the brows as natural as possible because I don't want the person looking like a scarecrow or something. I just want the brow looking natural, except the client requests for something else, right? So I try to stick with following their natural brows. So I use this pencil, and this pencil I have is the Davis pencil, is a Nigerian pencil brand. We use it very well. If you're a Nigerian makeup artist, you know this pencil. So I'm using this pencil in, I think it was shade 003 or 018. I'm not exactly sure, but those are the two shades that I usually have in my box. So I was going back and forth, and then I let her look at it so that she can tell me is it good, because the last thing I want is for my client to be upset that maybe something wasn't right or something didn't look okay to them. So I showed her and she was like, it's good. And then I went ahead and started concealing the brows. So I'm going to be using the same concealer that I used for under eyes for the brows, and it was looking good already. I really liked the outcome. So for concealing, I use mostly the concealer from the under eye, and then I wipe the brush completely so that I wipe it like to the least amount of concealer residue on the brush. To then I use that wiped brush to do the top, just because we've already set this part of her face. So if I'm moving a lot of creams on her eyebrow, that place is going to look weird and it's going to pull the product out. So using as little concealer as possible will help the top of the brows to look nice, and also it lightens the job that you have to do, because the last thing you want to do is to be trying to blend concealer on a powder and it's just looking out of place. So yeah, then I realized that I forgot to set her under eyes um to trap any residue from the brows or the eyeshadow. So I just went ahead to do that. The truth is, honestly, I forget a lot of steps for makeup, so I just, whenever I remember, I just do it and go on with it. The most important thing is that the makeup comes out looking nice, right? So yeah, after I'm done with this, I am now going to go back to the second brow to finish it. And for some reason, this other brow also took me so much time. I don't even know why. But brows stress me because sometimes it is very, very difficult to get the brows. So yeah, before I did the second brows, I also realized that I've not contoured her nose, so I went ahead and started doing the nose contour, which I should have actually waited for the both brows to do it, but uh, guys, is hard sometimes. You just forget and you're just doing it differently. But I decided to do the contour anyway, and it was looking nice. And I wanted it as subtle as possible, so I'm not using a very very dark powder. I'm just using a powder that is dark but not too dark to leave harsh lines. This one is really going in well, like with what I'm trying to do, is making it easy for me, and I really really appreciated that shade that I use for the nose contour. Then I'm just carving out, like I say carving, but I'm just setting the rest, the place close to the nose with the powder. And then I'm going for on the, I to be honest, I don't like highlighting under the cheek, but I don't know, for some reason it actually does a lot for the makeup. It helps to define the contour, but for me sometimes it's hard. And it's not just because I don't just say I don't like it. I don't like it because sometimes blending it out is so difficult for me. So I used little powder so that the blending can be easy for me. But then it looked good at the end. That was what I was going for. Anyway, back to the brows. We're going to be drawing this brow. This is the same process. So sorry, the other one was kind of out of view, but this one is much better, and you can really see what was going on in the brows that you couldn't see in the other video, in the other brow. So I outlined the brows, the using the cream, and then I'm just going on the top. I do the bottom first, and then I go on the top of the brow. And then as I'm drawing the brows, I keep on doing brushing, like brush strokes. I keep on brushing, just so that I'm not putting too much product. And also the ones that are there, the brush helps to fill in the brows too, so that you don't have to put too much products. So I keep on going back and forth until I get what I want. Until I get my desired look, I keep on going and going and going, guys. It's a lot of work, but it is definitely worth it if you take your time to do it. If you rush through it, you might end up with like harsh brow lines that will be very hard to blend in. So take your time, do it properly, and then you know that it is done. So afterwards, I'm going to conceal the eyebrows as I'm doing. As you can see, everything in this video is very subtle. I don't want no harsh lines. That was that was 2050 makeup look. This is 2025. There is no excuse for harsh lines in your makeup. So the trick to getting like your concealers and your creams is to use small products, and then you can increase it while you go. Is better and is safer for you. Instead of just putting a ton of products and you're struggling to blend, use little products and keep on adjusting as you are going on. As you can see, you can hardly tell that there is even concealer there, right? That is what I was aiming for. And then, like I said, I wipe out the brush and I just use the little product on the brush to do the top of the brow. So even when I'm done concealing the brow, I'm still going to take my pencil and go over it so that it looks good until I'm satisfied. Because sometimes the concealer brush may move some things, so I I have to go back with the pencil to get the brows looking good. And as you can see, my client was telling me what and what she wanted adjusted, and it made it so much easier, so that when she, like, not when I'm done and she's like, oh, I don't like this, and I have to start going over it. So while I was still working with going back and adjusting it, and then I'm just going to be using the brush to blend in the products. And using a brush really works well for me than a beauty blender. So I blended and blended and blended until I was happy. I actually used the concealer on her eyelids as like a primer. For some reason, I couldn't find my eye primer, so I just went in with the concealer. That works too if you don't have the primer. Just put your concealer, blend it in, and then use the powder um to go over the cream concealer that you've put on your eyes. And for this look, she wanted a really brown eyeshadow look. Nothing too spectacular, nothing too fancy. Just the brown eyeshadow look was the inspiration. So I started with my concealer palette because I liked the brown that was there. And that is the best part of having all these palettes. You can go, like, some things can suffice for others. So I was just using that, and then I did that side and I was okay with it, and I came to the other side. It was just a brown look. There is nothing else that was really added, just the brown eyeshadow look. And so I keep on going back and forth with my brush until I have achieved the same thing for this eyelid. And then I also, whenever I use powders, I pick the powder and I tap it off. Just because if you just pick the powder and you apply it to the person's skin, what you're going to do is to get a ton of product there, and it will be very difficult to blend. So, like I said, take a little bit of product, tap, apply. Take a little bit of product and apply. Take little is better than putting a ton of product and you're struggling to blend it. So when I was satisfied, I went into the inner corner of the eye, and I'm just going to be putting a little bit of shimmer just in there somewhere so that it looks really good. I just tapped a bit. It's not even so obvious, but in all honesty, in real view, it was okay, but the camera didn't really pick it up so well. I guess it's because I didn't use like pigments. I just used eyeshadow. Perhaps if I used like pigments, it could have popped. But she really wanted it nude, so we didn't go with pigments. We just stuck to eyeshadow just to give it just a teeny hint of pop. And then I'm going under her eyes. Not everyone likes this under eye makeup. Some people find it very, very ugly, to be honest. They say they don't like it, but everyone has their preference. She was okay with it, so I went over with kind of like would I say pink eyeshadow? It wasn't really pink, but it was like a brown nude and then a little bit of shimmers on it, and that was it basically. And then I went straight to the lipstick, and then I'm going to be lining her lips with a brown shade of lipstick. This lip as well is a very nude lipstick look, so nothing too bright or loud in this look. This look was simple, elegant, and classy, so everything was was like that, simple, elegant, and classy. So I lined the lower lips, lined the upper lips, and then after the lining I would now apply the brown. So using the brush is good. It helps to avoid contaminating the rest of the products. And then when I was done, I went straight ahead and just applied like lip gloss. Like I said, this was a very simple look. We were going for something very, very simple, and that was it. If you go ahead to use like your lipstick wand on your client, be sure to wipe it off before you put it back into the product. Okay, so I'm just using a brush to blend the gloss into the liner that I lined on her lip. And then I'm using like a shimmery lip gloss, a shimmery lip gloss to continue applying some shine to the lips. And then I'm just going to go over and apply some more blush, and then I will now dust off the rest of the powder. So I actually use the brush first to dust off maybe any particle of the eyeshadow that might have fallen, and then before I decide to press it. So for the under eye, the best way to get it looking good and sane again is to press the product into the skin. Trust me, I have used the sweep motion, and there were times that it really, really was distressing because I couldn't blend the product into the skin very well. But when you use a beauty blender to press in, it really does the job rather than sweeping. You may only sweep if they're like glitter residue or eyeshadow residue on the powder, then you press it. Because if you just go ahead and press it when you have eyeshadow residue, you're going to put whatever eyeshadow it is into the client's skin. And you can see already that even pressing in, I don't know what I did, but I had to keep on pressing it in until it looked good. So whatever you do, make sure your makeup blends and looks good, because that is the whole point of the makeup blending. So I kept on blending, because I wanted this to look flawless. I wanted it to look like skin. So you're just gonna see me keep blending. Oh god, blending. You do like a whole arm day blending when you're doing makeup. But yeah, I kept on blending, sweeping, blending, sweeping until I got what I really, really, really wanted. Overall, I really liked this look because it was as simple as it could get. It was so beautiful. Sometimes all the heavy makeup isn't what you need. Just something simple is really good. Then I'm going down as well to press that product into her face. Um, and then I'm going about anywhere I'm seeing any harsh lines, and I'm pressing product, press, because I want it to look nice. And then when I'm done with all this, I'm going to be spraying. The spray helps us, it sets the makeup into place. So investing in good setting sprays and finishing sprays are good. Setting spray is the one I'm spraying as I'm going, because that setting spray helps to set the makeup right. Then the finishing spray is the last like that you use on the skin. So when I'm gonna be spraying, I think two sprays, yeah, the setting spray and then the finishing spray. So when I sprayed this, then I found it as usual, and then actually I used three. I used three sprays, and then I used another setting spray, and then the final one is the lock-in spray. This spray, I really, really liked it because I had to get it, because I when I saw it at first, I was like, oh my god, I have to get my hands on this. So it's a transfer proof spray. And if you are someone that wears makeup, or you're a makeup artist, you know that your clients don't need their makeup transferring on their clothes, or even like when they hug someone, you don't need that map on the skin. So I got this, and knowing that my client's makeup is not going to transfer is the best feeling ever. So this was the final look. I found everything into place, touched up on the blush because that liquid the sprays kind of made the blush go dim. So I just touched it a little on the blush, and then I put it in. Then I'm putting like a bronzer. It was nothing too crazy, just subtle. And then that was basically it for this look, and I really, really, really liked the outcome of this look, and so did my clients. So when I was done, I went back and touched the nose, because the nose was not I didn't put any bronzer on the nose, so I went ahead and did that. And when I was done, I showed her look, and she really, really loved it. She was so happy. That is the best feeling ever when your client is happy. And yeah, that was it. Thanks for watching. Bye.